Welcome, folks. Chumash and Rashi for the Torah portion. Behar-Bechukotai. We continue with the fourth reading. If there's any noise over here, just some work that's being done. Don't mind the work. We are, whoops, in Vayikra, chapter 25, Leviticus 25, verse 39. And when your brother will become poor, imach, that is with you, v'nim karloch, and he becomes sold to you as an indentured servant, loisav v'aveda avud, you must not do labor with him of an indentured servant. Rashi in 39, avodas avid. So this is, Matt, this is servitude, a bondsman, slave labor, right? But it's not. Avodah shel genai, so avodah would be demeaning labor. She nikaba ke'eved, that then this person would be identified clearly as a servant, as a slave. For example, shelo yelech kelev achrav, they should not carry his master's clothes behind the master, lebeis hamerchas, to the bathhouse. V'lo yinal lo yiminolav, and he should put on his shoes, right? Because then that's like you're treating him as a servant, as a slave. Ah, you bought him. Doesn't matter. Can't treat him that way. Imagine. How revolutionary this is, given to us 3,000, over 3,300 years ago. 300 years ago, the world wasn't this way. 200 years ago, the world wasn't this way. And why did you buy him in any case to begin with? Because he was a either he was destitute, he didn't own the shirt on his back, so he gave himself in that way, or he was sold by the court of law because he was a thief and couldn't pay back what he stole. Oh, you got to pay back. So this is the way. But you can't even do such, wow. So you have to hold on to this servant that you purchased, right? As an employee or a hired resident. Until the Jubilee year, Yavidi he shall work with you. Rashi. In 40. Kisochir, Kitaishav, like a hired worker or a resident, Avedis Karka, labor of land, agricultural labor, in other words, Shemalechas Monois, or work of a craft, boy, treat him like other hired workers. In other words, you hired a worker to come and, someone who does your lawn, right? Mows your lawn. You hired him as a worker. Well, the way you would treat that person, that's how you have to treat this individual. Um, until the Jubilee year. Because if the Yovel comes, right, when the year begins, before 6 years, the Yovel takes him out of this slavery. And in other words, we have already learned that he goes out at 6 years. We learned that in Parshas Mishpatim, if you recall, beginning of the Parsha, and the book of Shmos in Exodus. Here it's telling us that if the Jubilee year came before the 6th year, meaning 6 full years, right? The 6 years is accounted from the day from when you're sold. Here, this is, it might be in the 3rd year. The Jubilee year, you would go out. That's the novelty over here. Okay. Verse 41. Yotze me'imach ho'obanav, and he has to leave you, him, his children, Imai, that are with him. Veshav el mishpachta, and he shall return to his family. Velachuzas vaisav yashu, and he should return to his status of his fathers. Rashi, let's see what this means. All right, everything's okay there, Carla? Yeah, everything's no problem. Okay, perfect. Hubanabima, so he and his children with him. Amar Reb Shimon. Reb Shimon said, Imhu Nimkar, if he was sold, Banav Mimachram, who sold the children? Like, why are the children coming back with him? He was sold into slavery because of he was a thief and couldn't pay back what he stole, right? But his children weren't. So where they come up all of a sudden over here, right? Ella Mikan. From here we understand Sharab Mechuyav, that his master is obligated to sign his bonav. It means that the master who owns him is actually obligated for the sustenance of food for the children. And now he becomes responsible once he leaves by the Jubilee year. He becomes responsible. Wow. That's why the Talmud tells us, by the way, that someone who, you know, purchased a slave purchased a master. They become like a master. Elchus is a Baisav. So to the heritage of his ancestors, El Baisav, to the dignity of his ancestors, and don't demean him by the fact that he was previously a slave. Achuzas cheskas. So the word achuzas over here usually means like a possession, or like something to hold on, like you're holding on to a possession. In this context, it means, holding on to his position as it was previously, right? No, 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 don't look down on him that he previously was a slave. He did his time. Wow. How progressive is this? Okay. Ki evedheim, kavadaihem. So why are you treating them like this? Because they are my servants. They are my servants. Asher Teitzias HaMeretz Mitzrayim, that I took them out of Egypt. Lo yimachem in keres eved, and do not, you know, don't treat them as an indentured servant is sold. Rashi 42. Avadaihem, because they are my servants, my slave started Kaidim. My contract comes with them first before your contract, right? In other words, they're part of my people. They're part of my, you know, um, connection and relationship with them. Don't sell them like selling a slave. Through announcement, kan limkar. Here is slave for sale. Don't put them on the selling block. That's right. Don't do it as the usual way that's done in a demeaning way. Verse 43, do not make him work backbreaking work, and you must have fear of your God. Rashi 43. Do not subject him through harsh labor, meaning work that's not needed. In order to torment him. So don't sell him. Warm me up this cup. But you don't really need it. You just want to keep them busy, right? Under tachas geffen, ho under the vine, at shavai until I'm going to come. Shemla Seimar, right? And others until I come. And others, you have to give them any kind of work that you give them. You have to give them, do this between 9 and 10:30. Not do this until I come back. In other words, there's no limit to it. That's not appropriate. Shema Temer. So you might say, "Ein makir b'dover." No one's going to know. Who's going to know the better? Even the person who's doing the work, he's not even going to know. Even let's say if it's for a need, even if it's not for a need. So I tell, well, Amen, ani loy, and I will say to him, Shula Tzerich. Okay, it's continuing. And I'll tell him, I need this, do this, right? All right, Davazim also lev. This is a matter that's given over to the heart. In other words, no one really knows the true intentions there. The Kafnemer, that's what the end of the verse says. V'yarei, so we should have fear of your God, right? Because God knows. He knows the truth. Yeah. All right. Mascha, and a bondsman and a bondswoman, she a lock that will be to you me'ez goyim from the nations of the world. Hasher seichem mehem tiknu eved v'ama. From around you may purchase non-Jewish bonds, man and bondwoman from them. One second. I mean, we need to move. But you have to move out. How do we separate it?
To separate that, you have to pull up this side, because this, you see this piece, they go inside like this on that side.
So just you got to pull it up from the from the front to the back, I guess.
And the corner, you have to pull up from the top to this side.
This side.
Yes. For this, you have to pull up the corner, and for this side, you have to pull up this one.
Right.
Yes, that's why this, you see, now it's fixed.
Yeah.
Now it's good. I'm gonna fix this. This is very, how you say that, loose, keep moving. Now
Tighten it.
thank you, I tightened it, yes, okay. So that's good now. I saw missing some screw, excuse me, missing some screw here. I need to fix that. You see, missing screw here. I forgot that. I have to put a new screw for that missing four.
Why is it
On
missing?
this piece,
Why is it missing?
this and this. Missing the screw there. Supposed to have two screws here.
Right. Why does that happen?
Because the back is fixed. If I don't put that the screw, the back is gonna move on the back. You're gonna fall down on the back.
Want to check these, make sure they're also.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Okay, yes.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay.
So I think do this.
Okay. All right. Okay. So 44. So so the slave and the maid servant that will be, im tamer, if you'll say im kain, kamish damish. So if so, b'mayish damish, with what am I going now to use for such services? Like in other words, who's going to carry, the things that I need to, and here I got to teach, deal with this person in such a manner. So Abadai ain't a Moshe, that you can't have authority over the Hebrew servant. Yesheva Umayis ain't a Neichel. Nor can I take possession as the members of the 7 nations who occupy the land. Sharei is Hartoni. Neshama. That that if they don't make peace with you, then and they fight you, then they don't remain alive. Elami Yisham Sheni, so then who will serve? So Torah comes to answer me. So going from the nations, Amy Adam, they can be as they can fulfill the servitude. Asher Siri Seichem, B'Seichem Vul Artzachem, not within the boundary of your land. Shari Bayhem Amarti, because for them Allah Yitzchak Kol Neshama. So we're saying over here, right? From then they can do the menial task work, right? Also with them, there's you know, a rate limitation. Okay, 45. Begami b'nei atay shavim hagarim imochem. Also, you can purchase from them, from those that are dwelling resident with among you. V'hem tiknu b'mishpachtam asher imochem shem yolid ba'artzochem b'hayir lachem la'achuzo. So from them, as well as their families that live among you, whom they give birth in the land, they can become part of your achuza, your estate. 45. Shimon say them, they come from the lands around you. In other words, not native to the land of Canaan. Lisa Nashim, they come to marry the Canaanite women, Artzachem in your land. Yodelahem, and those women gave birth to them. The children that the children fathered by the residents. Then the son of it goes after the father. Einem Nechlal is the Chayim. Ella at what the Liknaisam. Yeah, Bebet. Behem Tiknu, from them you can purchase, or some Tiknu. Okay. I have to stop over here. Gonna come. Unfortunately, can't finish it. Um, all right.